Hi, I'm Diane Hendricks and welcome to Fresh to Frozen and Back. This show is going to make your life easier. In each episode, I'll show you how to prepare delicious and better for you meals, how to freeze them properly, and then bring them back to the table at a later date. This episode is all about hot pepper powder. In particular, I'm using Skip's peppers. All natural, no preservatives, no sugar, no salt, no additives. So delicious. I'll be using their original blend and the habanero. And here's all you do. The first thing I'm gonna do is make a little marinade that we're also gonna use as a base, and it is so delicious. We have in here is some extra virgin olive oil. Really good quality oil, makes a big difference when you're making something. Some freshly squeezed orange juice, fresh lime juice, garlic, and I'm using Skip's peppers, habanero pepper. Now the original blend is made with poblano, serrano, and jalapeno, and the habanero has those same three peppers but with habanero added. So this one's like a 7 to 8 on the heat scale from 1 to 10, and the original is about a 5. So it's a little more milder, the original. You throw in some habanero in anything, you're obviously going to raise up the heat. Then I'm going to add a little lime zest. I like to use the zest of a lime. Actually, a really good tip is anytime you're going to use a lime, if you're going to cut it, make wedges, squeeze it, get the zest out first, because the zest freezes beautifully. So you can just zest an entire lime onto either a baking sheet or onto a plate, then stick that plate in the freezer, and once that zest is frozen, just put it in a little souffle cup or a little freezer safe plastic bag, label it, date it, and then you can just pull out your fresh zest whenever you want. So if you think about it, if you're just cutting the lime, squeezing it, and throwing it out, you're wasting all of those oils and all that deliciousness that's in the outside. So I'm using this lime 2 times. I'm gonna zest half of it in the marinade and the other half for the habanero butter that we're gonna make. So all you do is you just kind of keep turning around as you zest. So if you stay in one spot too long, you're gonna end up with that white pith that's got a little bitterness. So you just kind of keep moving around. I remember this so clearly when I first used a zester many, many moons ago. I'd be like, nothing's happening. And most of it, and a lot of it, sticks to the bottom of the microplane. So you'd have to kind of tap it down to get the rest of it out. So that's enough of the zest. And what we'll do is we'll just mix this up. I mean, just think about it. The combination of orange juice and fresh lime juice with spicy peppers and garlic, you can't go wrong. So now what I'll do is I'll take a plate that's gonna be big enough to hold these 2 pieces of salmon. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reserve a little bit of it so I can use it to baste. So I'll do about a little more than 3/4. Save just a little bit. Make sure I did it nice and slow, so I saved some of the garlic in the back too. Then I'll take the salmon, and these are really nice salmon steaks here, and then just kind of roll it around. Now what you're gonna wanna do, which I'm not gonna do here, is you're gonna wanna put this in the refrigerator for about an hour, 2 hours max, and that way some of that flavor will infuse into the salmon. But for time and the magic of TV or whatever, we're just gonna cook it right up. I like to cook my salmon when it has the skin on it, skin side down, and just let it cook from underneath. But what I do is initially I will hit it on the top side so I get like a little sear on the top, and then flip it over and let it cook from the bottom, because I like that crispy skin. Plus it has all those omega-3 fats and all those healthy fats for you in the skin, and it also is very delicious. We're gonna heat this pan up. Oh, it's getting nice and hot already. And then I'm gonna put in some olive oil. Now, this is olive oil that I made at home. I infused it. So this is a thyme, lemon, garlic olive oil. And it just is so easy to do. Just threw a couple garlic cloves in there, some fresh thyme leaves, and some lemon peel. So we'll put that in here. And we don't need a lot. Oh, and it's already, I see it. It's already getting liquid and pulling to the side. So, like I said, I like to take the salmon and you're gonna get most of the marinade off real quick on the flesh side, just for a second. And then I'm gonna flip that over and let it cook from the bottom up with the skin so that the skin gets nice and crispy. So just almost like a quick sear here, that rind. And then we'll flip it over and flip this over. And then we're gonna just let that cook from the bottom up. It'll take about 6 minutes. And it depends on how you like your salmon. I don't like mine completely cooked all the way. Like, I like it like a medium rare. So we'll just let that cook for a minute. And we're gonna reserve this as well. Now, once you've had the salmon in here, what I like to do is I'll take a container like this. And what I'll do is I'll take the container and then put this into a container that's freezer safe. And you wanna get those garlic bits, of course. And I will label this with the date, what it is, and that it's already been in raw salmon. So the next time I have salmon, I'll just pull this out, defrost it, put it right in the pan, and we'll be ready to go. If you want, you can get the side, oh, I can already tell that the skin is gonna be so nice and crispy. Kind of move it around a little bit. So this is almost ready, but while I'm waiting, we're gonna make the habanero lime butter. It's so easy. So you're gonna take butter, which I don't use a lot of butter, but there's certain times that it's so good, and with this salmon, it's really fantastic. So we have the butter, which is softened, which makes it easy. Some fresh lime juice. And here I'm gonna use a little garlic powder because I don't want those big chunks of garlic in the butter. Now, when it comes to garlic powder, always choose the powder over the salt, whether it's onion salt, celery salt, garlic salt. Use the powder because you want to control the amount of salt. And then a little more of this habanero powder that is so good, the skips. Now we're gonna mix this all together. You can infuse butter with so many things. It's just, you know, you can put fresh herbs in here, anything that you like. So you're just gonna mix it all up, get it all in there. And then you can refrigerate this and it'll become solid. You can do it in a little cup like this, or you can just leave it, you know, make it like a stick. However you form it, it's going to refrigerate and solidify that way, and then you can either cut it or spread it, whatever works. Okay, so this is ready. So what I'm doing is I'm getting that lime juice incorporated into the butter with the habanero. So good, it smells delicious. Okay, let me take this out and I'll put this right in here. Put it right back where I had the original butter. So now here you have this wonderful, you can even smash this down and refrigerate it, and then you can just spread it. Okay, the salmon's done for me. How easy is that? So simple, so delicious. So we're just gonna take it. Oh, it's cooked perfectly. I can tell by looking there for me. Oh, yum. So you're gonna take it, and while it's hot, we'll just add a little bit of this habanero butter to the top, and it'll melt onto it, and just kind of a little spread here. And then we're gonna add some lime zest to the top of this. It's so delicious. And probably some fresh parsley, because you want a little green in there. And people who don't like salmon, this is a really good way to test them out and see if you can get them to like it, because this tastes so yummy. A little bit of fresh parsley, I'm gonna chop that up. And if you don't like parsley, don't use it. If you want cilantro, use cilantro. But, you know, salmon, parsley, butter, habanero, lime, come on, so good. And you can see that butter's melting and it's delicious. Let me take a little taste here. Oh, it's cooked perfectly. It's cooked perfectly, a perfect medium rare. Oh my gosh. The citrus with the heat, with the creaminess of the butter and the velvety salmon, absolutely fantastic. And if you don't finish it all, which I highly doubt, you can make a delicious salmon salad out of this, put it over a salad or mash it up and make a little salad, or you can freeze it. Again, same thing, baking sheet, single layer, in the freezer once it's solid, Ziploc bag or container that's freezer safe, labeled and dated. When we come back, I'm going to make some stuffed portobello mushrooms with turkey sausage. That is to die for. I'll see you in a minute. Skips Peppers is an artisan spice made from hot peppers smoked over a hardwood fire. Roasted, ground, and bottled without salt, sugar, additives, or preservatives, Skips Peppers is a great way to add smoky flavor and the perfect amount of heat to any meal. In our house, that's breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, and the occasional cocktail. In your house, try any one of these great recipes or simply sprinkle onto your next meal. Get you some today at skipspeppers.com. Okay, this recipe is so simple and so delicious. Stuffed portobello mushrooms with cheese and bell pepper, onions, and turkey sausage. Now, if you don't want to use turkey sausage, you can use veggie grounds, you can use ground beef, you can use chicken, vegetables, whatever you like. So just throw your personality into this recipe. This is just one particular way that I like to do the stuffed poblanos. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is, I have poblano peppers here. I've already scraped the gills out, which are in here. And I'm gonna use them because I'm gonna add all the other stuff with them, but it's nice to get them out of there so it's nice, smooth, and when you cut it, it's just a better flavor. And so it's all scraped out, and these are portobello mushrooms, which are so meaty in texture, have lots of minerals and vitamins, and super low in calories. Okay, so what I have here is just throwing it all together. I've got some red bell pepper, finely chopped onion. You can use whatever you like. You can use shallots, you can use leeks, you can use whatever you want. I'm going to add a little bit of shredded cheddar cheese. I'm going to save the rest because I'm going to throw that on the top. 1 egg. What else do we have here? We've got some parsley, which I'm going to save a little for the top. So we'll put the cheese and the parsley there. Garlic, fresh minced garlic. And we are using Skips Original Blend, which is poblano, serrano, and jalapeno peppers. So yummy and fresh, and the aroma of this is unbelievable. And a little pinch of salt and some panko breadcrumbs and some ground turkey that I've already cooked. So you're just gonna saute it till it's cooked completely through. And then we're just gonna mix this together. Then I'm gonna get my hands in here a little bit. But right now I'm just kind of tossing it together to disperse that egg throughout it. And just, oh, look at all the color. Lots of color, lots of nutrition here, lots of deliciousness. I love it. Now I'm just gonna get in here a little bit because I'm gonna stuff it by using my hands and just kind of get this all together. So this is a perfect amount, and you can overstuff these, and this is just so, so good. I got my messy hands, so we're gonna do this. Now, I'm gonna divide this. This one's a little bigger than that one, so I'm gonna divide it like a little bit more on one and a little less on the other. And what I like to do is kind of just gather it together, almost like you're gonna make a meatball. And then I'll just set it right inside the portobello. You can do these in little mushrooms too, like little cremini mushrooms or white mushrooms, anything you like. You can stuff this in a pepper. This is just a great stuffing for any type of vegetable. Zucchini boats, that would be great. And then I'm gonna kind of just get a little bit more here. Here, look at that. This is such a delicious meal. Then just push down a little bit, get it in there, make it nice and solid. I'm gonna rinse my hands off. And then I'm gonna take the rest of the cheese and just sprinkle it on the top. I have the oven preheated at 375. Getting nice and hot, make sure it's fully preheated. And kind of spread this cheese around. And if you don't want to use cheddar, that's fine. You can use Swiss, you can use any type of cheese that you like. And I'm gonna save this for garnish at the end. I'm gonna clean up a little bit here because I didn't line this with parchment paper, so I suggest you lining with parchment. So I like to take a little bit of it off, and we'll just set that onto the side. And now I'm just gonna pop this in the oven at 375 for 20 minutes till the cheese starts to get melty and it's heated all the way through. And then when we come back, I'm gonna pull these out of the oven, and then I am going to share my next recipe with you. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. Come back. All right, another super simple and delicious recipe, hot honey chicken thighs. And here's all you do. We're gonna start with some extra virgin olive oil, which, as I mentioned before, is infused with thyme and lemon and garlic. It's so good. And then we're just gonna add some dried spices. We're gonna do some onion powder, cumin, garlic powder, salt, and Skip's habanero, the habanero blend, which is really good. Poblano, serrano, jalapeno, and habanero. It's gonna give it this nice, spicy, delicious flavor. And then we're just gonna mix this up. And you'll see it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's gonna coat all of these chicken thighs. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put on a latex glove or vinyl glove because I always do that when I'm dealing with raw chicken, so I don't have to deal with washing my hands crazy and worrying about it. So, I always use a glove with that. So I'm just gonna put these in here, get a little bit on each, just a little bit of this. And that's why there's not that much in there, because I don't want it to be like liquidy. I want it to really stick to these chicken thighs. Now these are skinless, boneless chicken thighs. And now I'm getting all of that delicious, all those spices and all that flavor on these thighs. And as you see, there's really nothing left in the bowl because it's all on the chicken. So I'm gonna let that sit for a second. I'm gonna heat up a pan. And while that pan's heating up, I'm gonna make that hot honey that we're gonna kind of glaze it with. But just the simple ingredients here have so much flavor. Okay, so I'm gonna let that sit for a second, heat up the pan, and then we're gonna make that hot honey mixture. So in this bowl, I have honey, about 3 tablespoons of honey. I'm going to add some apple cider vinegar, which is gonna loosen it up a little bit, and Skip's habanero. And this is gonna make such a delicious little glaze for this chicken that we're gonna kind of add to it as it's cooking. So you can see that honey is getting a little more liquid with the addition of that vinegar, and then that tanginess of the vinegar and the sweetness of the honey and the spice and the peppers. Oh my God, all of that together, forget about it. And then what I'm gonna do is baste this on it or drizzle it on it. And let's get some oil in the pan. Crank it up a little bit, and then I'll take these. So now what we're gonna do is the oil's nice and hot, boom. And you can even see by the color of the underside of these chicken thighs, like how dark it is, because all that flavor has, all those spices have kind of like sucked into the chicken. And this is so good if you have any left over on a salad. Again, it freezes really great, but you're not gonna have any of this left over. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this honey mixture. So I put it smooth side down, which is called the presentation side, first, so that you get a nice sear on that side, and then you flip it over with the side that's already been cut away from the bone. And then we're just gonna take some of this hot, delicious honey, drizzle and baste. Oh my, it smells so good. And then that honey's gonna get into the juices from the bottom of the pan, and then at the end we'll just kind of like pour it over the top. So this is gonna cook just to sear. Okay, now it's time to flip. Look at that beautiful sear. And you're getting that sear as well because you have all those powdered spices on there. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. And then what we're gonna do is let the underside cook, and I'm gonna go back over it with this delicious hot honey. Oh my. This is one of my favorites. And the Skip's peppers, forget it. It's really just adds such a depth of fresh flavor, no preservatives, no additives. And like I said, that honey is kind of getting into the juices in the bottom of the pan. So once we plate it, we're gonna pour that on top. Oh, so good. Skip's Peppers is an artisan spice made from hot peppers smoked over a hardwood fire. Skip's Peppers is a great way to add smoky flavor and the perfect amount of heat to any meal. Get you some today at skipspeppers.com. These are done and ready to plate. If we had smell-o-vision here, you would be crazy. It smells so good. I'm gonna turn off the heat. It's finished. You know it's done when the temperature inside reaches 165 and it's not pink inside any longer. Oh my, this is beautiful. And I'm going to add just the pan drippings. Now here's what I like to do. I'll take these pan drippings, just a little bit over it, because then we're gonna drizzle some of this honey over it too. Oh my goodness. And then I'm gonna go over the top again with what I have left here. So you get that little vinegary honey, spicy flavor. Not too much because we don't want it too sweet. And then we're just gonna hit it with some fresh parsley. And that's all she wrote. Now let me just check on these poblanos. So there's your chicken. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now I'm gonna check the portobello mushrooms, and they are perfection. Oh my goodness. So delicious. Just gonna put them right on the cutting board. This is a meal in itself. Healthy, delicious, simple, spicy, and again, these freeze beautifully, whole just like this. Even layer in a baking sheet once they're frozen solid. Ziploc bag, freezer safe, labeled, dated. You can pull it right out, stick it right back in the oven. And I just gotta cut into this so you can see how nice they look. And look at this. This is a turkey sausage stuffed portobello mushroom that'll knock your socks off. Thanks for watching this episode of Fresh to Frozen and Back. Please share with the people that you love, your friends, your family, and tune in, and I will see you next time.